Hi everyone, we're going to find 2 points that define the latus rectum, and we're given the focus and the directrix of the parabola, and we're going to graph as well. So these are the 4 problems we're going to do right here, and I always find by graphing these it makes it a lot easier. So if you can know the direction of the opening, it makes it easier. So we're going to just get started. And the first one we have is the focus is at -2, 0, and the directrix is at x equals 2. You know your vertex is the midpoint between your focus and your directrix. So since this is our focus, here we know this opens to the left. Therefore our equation is going to be, and I'll write it over here, y squared, since it opens to the left, it's going to be -4ax. We also know that our a is 2 because we went over 2 here. So we get y squared equals -4 times 2x, which is y squared equals -8x. Alright, now for the points that define the latus rectum, we go from our focus, and the length is going to be 8. So we're going to go from here, we're going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you just graph it as best as you can. Oops. So it's something like that. And that would be your equation. Now, if you want to find the points that define the latus rectum, you can get them right off the graph. Or you can use the x value for this, which is -2, 0, and we want to plug in 0. We want to plug in the -2 to find the y's. We have 2 y's here, so we know this is -2, something, -2, something. So we're going to plug in -2 in for x to find our y. You get y squared equals 16. So y equals, you square root both sides, plus or minus 4. And that's what we did. We went up +4 and down +4. So from my 0 here, I'm adding 4 and subtracting 4. Okay? The next one, this is our vertex here. I wrote the directrix down. Means my midpoint between the two is going to be right here. So my center again is 0, 0. Since this opens down, we have the form of x squared equals -4ay, whereas a is 1, because we went down 1 and up 1. So x squared equals -4 times 1 is just -4y. Alright, the length of the latus rectum is 4. So knowing this opens down, I'm going to go over 2, and to the right 2, and to the left 2. And you could get your points that define the latus rectum off from the graph. If not, we know that this point, if you want to do it algebraically, is 0, -1. So this point here is x, -1. Let me do this in a different color. And this point here is something common, -1. So I'm going to plug in my y is -1 to my equation here to find my x. So I get x squared equals -4, and I'm going to plug in my y. You get x squared equals 4. So x, if you square root both sides, you get plus or minus 2. And that's exactly what we did. We went to the right 2, that's +2, and to the left 2. So when I'm adding 2 to the 0, I get 2 and -2. So these are the points that define the latus rectum. Okay, the next one, our focus is at -3, 4, and our directrix is at y equals 2. Therefore, my midpoint is the vertex. So the vertex equals -3 comma 3. Therefore, my A equals 1. We know this is going to open up, so my equation for this is going to be x minus h squared equals 4a times y minus k. You plug things in, you get x minus a negative 3 squared equals 4a. My a is 1, so that's just going to be 4. Y minus 3, which happens to be x plus 3 squared equals 4 times y minus 3. There's your equation, and now we know our latus rectum here, the length is 4, so I'm just, from my focus, I go over 2, to the right 2, and to the left 2, because I know this opens up, and graph it here, and you can get the points directly from here. We know that this point here is negative 3, comma 4. This point here is something, comma 4. And this point here is something, comma 4. So you can just pull it off here. We added 2, we got negative 1. We subtracted 2, and we got negative 5. Or you could just plug it in the equation, your negative 3 here, your 4, plug in 4 in for y and solve for x. And if you do that, you're going to get, x plus 3 squared equals 4. You plug in 4 here, you're going to get 4 times 4 minus 3. This equals 1. So that's where we get the 4. Square root both sides, you get x plus 3 equals plus or minus 2. So x equals plus or minus 2, and subtract the 3. So that's going to be 2 minus 3 and negative 2 minus 3, which gives you your negative 1 and gives you, gives you your negative 5. I'll just put it there because it's moving it. Okay. Now for the last one, we have this one. My focus is here, and my directrix is x equals negative 4. I find the midpoint, which is here, and that point is negative 1, comma 4. It opens, therefore, to the right, and therefore I'm going to use the equation of y minus k squared equals 4a times x minus h. And I've got my vertex here, so this is going to be y minus 4 squared equals 4a. Now my a is 3. So I went up 3 here and back 3. So this is 3. And then we have x minus a negative 1, which is going to be x plus 1. This gives me y minus 4 squared equals 12 times x plus 1. My latus rectum is 12. Therefore, from my focus, I'm going to go up 6. And I don't have much room here, so I'm going to put it as close as I can up there. And down 6. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Because the length, this whole length has to be 12. So use your imagination here. And there is the graph. I'm going to fix that a little bit. Something like that. This whole length here is 12. So I went up 6 and down 6. Now, we know that I'm changing the y, and I know this point here, my focus here is 2, comma 4. Therefore, I know this point here is 2, comma something. This point is 2, comma something. And you can get it right off the graph, or you can just plug in your x into the equation and solve for y. So when you do that, you plug in 2, you're going to get times 3. This 2 plus 1 is 3. Square root, okay, this is 36. Square root both sides, and you get y minus 4 equals plus or minus 6. So we get y equals plus or minus 6 plus 4. And that's going to be y equals 6 plus 4 and negative 6 plus 4. So this one is 10, which is right here. And if it's supposed to go way, it's supposed to go way up higher, but I'm just making a mess. Alright, it's supposed to go way up there. So that would be 2 comma 10. And then this one's 2 comma negative 2. Because negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. Or like I said before, you could just get this off your graph. Goes right there. Goes right there. Okay. The next set I'm going to do is where you have a vertex and they give you the axis of symmetry containing a point. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye-bye.